Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. And in today's video, we'll be talking about Saturn in the 8th house. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So before we start, just a quick disclaimer that I am not using Western tropical astrology. I will be using Vedic sidereal astrology. So you just want to make sure that you are using a whole sign system. Along with this, Saturn is a very karmic planet. So the most important times of our lives with this Saturn placement will be around the age of 30 when Saturn returns back to its original location, along with the maturity of Saturn around the age of 36. This is where Saturn will start to release some of those karmic holds and remove the fears, which will help you to see some forward growth and progress. You also want to see what sign is Saturn in. Is it happy in the sign that it is placed in? Is it debilitated in Aries, exalted in Libra, or in its own sign of Capricorn and Aquarius? You also want to see, is Saturn in conjunction with any planets or receiving aspects from planets? This will all make a huge difference in how Saturn will play out within your natal chart. The influence of Saturn will also become extremely active during a Saturn Mahadasha. So if you have not already, make sure to check out my video on the Saturn Mahadasha Bhuktis to gain a greater understanding of how this will impact you within your life. So what does Saturn represent? Well, as I've said, Saturn is a very karmic planet. It is a heavy planet that brings to us karmas that need to be resolved in this lifetime. So Saturn tends to bring a lot of delays and obstacles. It is a planet of patience, of discipline, of hard work. It teaches us through the reality of life, through our experiences. So Saturn brings us the most challenging of karmas, but Saturn also is a planet that gives us long-lasting results. It is all about longevity. It is all about building a solid and stable foundation. Saturn also is related to the underprivileged. It is all about the elderly, the sick, those who are without. And so in this way, Saturn is about service. It is about justice. It is about helping humanity. Saturn is a very introverted planet. It is very mystical, very much into being alone, and is connected to our spiritual progress. So what does the 8th house represent? Well, this is an interesting placement because Saturn is also the karaka or significator of the 8th house. So Saturn feels very comfortable in this position. The 8th house is the house of sudden ups and downs. It is all about situations that transform us permanently. The 8th house is a house of shared resources, of taxes, of inheritance. It is all about resources and gathering money that is shared. This house is also related to our in-laws. It is all about our married life. The 8th house is a house of hidden information, of the occult, of astrology, of mysticism. Along with this, the 8th house is about anything that is buried underground. So it is connected to mining. This 8th house is all about sudden emergency situations, relating it to the medical field and crisis situations as well. So what happens when Saturn comes into the 8th house? Well, this is definitely going to give a sense of longevity, because this 8th house is also related to longevity along with Saturn. So this tends to give a long life. However, Saturn brings a lot of difficulties and conflicts into your life as well. So this is a position of hard work, of discipline, of putting forth the effort. This is going to bring you many challenges that are going to change and shift your direction. Saturn in the 8th with time is going to make you a strong and resilient person. This is going to take you through many ups and downs in life, but Saturn helps to stabilize this 8th house. So you are a survivor. You are able to go through challenging situations and to come out of it. This can also give an interest into occult knowledge, into hidden subjects. You can make an excellent researcher and can have a great understanding of everything that is hidden below the surface. So this is an excellent position for any career that involves dealing with hidden or sensitive information. This is a great position for a secret agent, for a private detective, any sort of investigation work. Saturn in the 8th house also makes you excellent in emergency situations. Again, this is a placement where you are able to survive the difficulties of life. So you tend to do well with others who are going through crisis situations as well. So this can make you an excellent counselor. This can get you involved in the medical field as an emergency medic, as a surgeon, all of these situations where you are dealing with sudden and difficult situations of life. Saturn here in this 8th house can give you a lot of obstacles in your relationship with your in-laws. So it can be a very cold and distant connection in this area. And this is something that tends to improve with time. You also can have the same experience with your family as well. So Saturn is going to aspect over to the 2nd house of your chart, 2nd house of your early upbringing, of your connection to your family, your traditions, your values. So there can be distance from your family members as well. You could be in a situation where you had to move away from your family at a young age. This is a challenging position when it comes to your relationships with your siblings and your close family members. If you are getting into situations of shared resources, this is definitely a position where you can run into a lot of conflicts and obstacles. This is a position where you have to put in the work and effort to build your resources. So this is definitely a position of Saturn that is all about being self-sufficient. Due to your early experiences in life, this Saturn position can make you mature early. This can put you in a position where you are working from an early age. And so you view life in a very realistic way. You are able to see things for exactly what they are. And this makes you a hardworking person. If Saturn is in a challenging position, this can mean that you feel a lot of burden and pressure put onto you. But in general, this gives you a strength and resilience to move forward in life. As Saturn aspects onto the 10th house of your chart, you can find a lot of obstacles and difficulties around career. You may see a lot of sudden changes in your career, and this is an excellent position for careers that involve a lot of change and having to deal with sudden situations. But you may find that you are getting into unnecessary arguments or situations where you are losing a job. So you want to be very cautious in this area. Saturn is definitely going to transform your career life. And so if you are on the wrong path, you will find that Saturn will take you in a different direction. This position of Saturn in the 8th can get you involved into conflicts with authority figures within your workplace. So you want to be very careful in this area. This also can give conflicts with the father as well. So you can find yourself detached or distanced from the father. Along with this, though, it gives you strong ties to the father. So the father may be influencing you in some way where you are seeking to follow in the father's footsteps. Saturn's aspect onto the 2nd house makes you a very traditional person. You want to take on your family values and to pass it down. The 2nd house also is about knowledge. So once again, this position of Saturn in the 8th house is going to make you someone who is very intelligent, who is always on this search for deeper knowledge and understanding. This aspect onto the 2nd house also makes you very skilled with wealth. So you may find that there are a lot of obstacles and difficulties around building the wealth and security that you want at an earlier age. But as you get older and go through experiences, this actually can help you to accumulate wealth, where you become very skilled in finances and financial management. Saturn in the 8th house in general makes you a very cautious person. Again, you have a very realistic approach towards life. But if you have Saturn in a difficult position, then you want to be very careful around speculation, gambling. This can get you into difficult situations. But you can gain a lot of knowledge and understanding around investments and stock market. Saturn is also going to aspect onto the 5th house of your chart. And this is going to bring back some past life karmas from your past experience. So this is showing some good deeds that were performed in a previous incarnation. And through this, you are bringing with you a lot of knowledge and experience. Saturn's aspect onto this 5th house can make you highly creative, highly intelligent, and this can be something that also shows up in your children as well. Saturn's aspect onto the 5th house can delay children. There can be obstacles around childbirth, but also this is an area where you are a very disciplined parent. You are very supportive. You may find that if Saturn is in a difficult position, that your children are resisting you due to your desire to pass down your traditional values. This aspect onto this 5th house, similar to Saturn being in the 8th house, is going to give you a lot of knowledge around spirituality, around astrology, mysticism. This also can give you knowledge in mantras and ancient knowledge as well. So this is an excellent position for an astrologer, for an occultist, for anyone who is into mystical knowledge. Saturn's aspect onto the 5th house can also give you some difficulties around education. And Saturn aspecting onto this 5th house can actually help you to achieve success in your education. But you may find that you are unhappy and dissatisfied with your education as well. But you may also find that you are unhappy and dissatisfied with your education as well. So with this position, you are someone who is more interested in deeper knowledge, in understanding all of the mysteries in this deep research. And so formal education may be an area that you are having some difficulties in, that you find very bland, very boring, but also you have the endurance to achieve in this area. In general, this position of Saturn in the 8th house is a very challenging position that will take you through many transformations and obstacles. But in the end, Saturn gives you the strength and resilience to outlive all of these difficulties and can bring you into wealth and status as well, after putting in the effort and discipline into this. Along with this, though, there is a karma around giving back to others through the things that you accumulate as well. So this is a position of supporting those in need, of being the person who is able to manage those crisis situations.